Good evening, guys and girls, and welcome back to Ancient Gaming. It's been 4 months since patch 6.2 was released, and bringing with it TimeWalking Dungeon. And I thought it was about time, that we just sat down and just spoke about what it's brought, how it works, and what can be done to make it better. There's been a lot of critical receptions towards it, and whether it's a good thing, whether it's a bad thing. Generally, they're leaning towards it being quite a good thing and an extra thing to do. However, it isn't without its flaws. It has had several problems that comes with it, and I'd just like to discuss those with you. Alright, quickly, just how it works for those people that have not tried it or have been living under a rock for the past 4 months. Basically, every couple of weeks you can queue for a TimeWalking dungeon from either Wrath of the Lich King or Burning Crusade with random people. How it works is every couple of weeks they release TimeWalking dungeons for that specific expansion, and then you can queue up for it. So these dungeon bosses can drop a loot that scales up to your level at an item level of around 675. They also reward time warped badges, which can be sold at a vendor in either Dalaran or Shatrath, depending on which dungeons you are participating in. And those can be redeemed for several rewards, some of which are quite cool and some of which are kind of pointless. Right, the first thing that I want to talk about is the difficulty. Unfortunately, the difficulty is almost laughable. I remember running the Nexus back on Heroic back in the early days of Wrath of the Lich King, and I remember near the first boss, Grand Magus Telestra. If you accidentally pulled a pack of mobs during that fight, it was, well, GG. However, just today, the same thing happened while I was doing the TimeWalking dungeon, and it was pretty much a non-issue. I mean, the healer had to wake up a little bit and spam Healing Wave a couple more times, but other than that, we just carried on hitting the boss and cleaning down the ads. I mean, I always wished that I could have played during Burning Crusade, because, well, anybody who played Burning Crusade tells you about how amazing it was, and they also say how brutally hard some of the heroic dungeons could be, and I was really hoping for that feeling. However, Blizzard just flat out disappointed me. I mean, I ran through shattered halls, barely paying attention to what I was even doing while I was watching an episode of Friends. We reached the end of the dungeon and I was just like, okay, well, cool, better go hand in this quest now. Seriously, I mean, just make it a little bit challenging, introduce some CC, I mean, something, make the boss last longer than 45 seconds. It can't be that hard to just put a few more mechanics, or make the mechanics slightly more challenging. I mean, come on, it's really just disappointing how easy these are. I mean, I was running through with one of my alts who has an item level of about 630, and everybody else had pretty much the similar item level, and it was non-issue pretty much the entire thing. So come on, Blizzard, wake up and let's do something a little bit better. Next, what I want to talk about is when you can actually do these dungeons. These dungeons are only available for a selected weekend, which is then recycled back into the bonus weekend timeline. Right, they run from Wednesday to Monday. Why? I mean, shouldn't we at least get a full week? Make it a full week. You're already running it from the Wednesday, but why to Monday? All of a sudden, halfway through Monday, no, you can't do them anymore. Why won't they let us do them for the Monday and the Tuesday as well? I mean, for some people that might be when they actually can log in and get some of the stuff done. That maybe that's their work schedule. Maybe they can only jump in then and get that done. But no, they can't do it. They don't have the time to. And so that's a whole bunch of content that's just missed out for them. I mean, most people on Tuesdays are generally just waiting for the lockout of their raid to end so that they can continue. So I mean, give them something else to do while they wait. Why is it such a bad thing that we had like an extra 2 days for them to be able to do it? It seems incredibly pointless. Alright, they wanted to maybe make it slightly more exclusive by 1.5 days? Why would they do that? I have no idea. It seems just incredibly pointless. Alright, let's also just take a look at what the other events are. Alright, during the bonus week schedule. Alright, they've got pit battles, the arena skirmish, the battleground bonus, the Draenor dungeons, and the Apexis. The goddamn Apexis. Alright, these are all things that can be done pretty much all the time. They don't have the bonus to them, but you can always do an arena skirmish, you can always do a pit battle, you can always do the battleground, you can always do the Draenor dungeons, and you can always do the Apexis if you really, really want to. Okay, however, TimeWalking dungeons are locked out. You can only do them for that specific weekend. Why is that? Why not we make it that every week you can do a Wrath of the Lich King dungeon, and then the next week you do Burning Crusade dungeons? Alright, you simply log in and do that. You still get the little time walk badges. Alright, you can always do them. However, then on the bonus weekend for them, you can get the quests and you get the healthy boost to them, so that you can you get the quest that you get at the end of the final boss, and you get the 5 time walking dungeons quest. And then it's a bonus weekend for those time walking dungeons. However, if you don't have the time during that bonus weekend, you can still do the time walking dungeons. You can still experience what that's all about. I mean, this is a way that everybody can enjoy the content and still have the bonus event being a significant thing. I mean, that way everybody gets to take a look at it, and maybe for the love of God, take out the Apexis boost out of the rotation. That's just a side note. Please take it out. Who the hell cares? Nobody likes it, as far as I know. If you do actually like it, maybe post a comment at the bottom of the video and maybe explain to me why you think it's useful, or go see a therapist. Now let's talk about the rewards. The rewards are something that I'm very happy with. Alright, you can get these time warp badges. They look very similar to the justice point badges that you used to get back in the day. And you can also get a scaled up item level to 675. Firstly, if you do this right, it is quite a nice and effective way to gear up an alt, just to get them up to 675, so that you can maybe start doing some normal raids and whatnot. Secondly, these time warp badges have a lot of cool rewards. Seriously, some really cool stuff. Firstly, you get the mounts. You can get the kick-ass Dragonhawk from the Burning Crusade vendor, and you can get the really cool ghostly warhorse thing from the Wrath of the Lich King vendor. These are really cool ideas that they've put in here. Getting some more mounts in that you don't have to get on the freaking game store, and that you can actually work towards and put some time in and get. Right, you can always also get some heirloom upgrade tokens, so that you don't have to spend so much gold on them trying to make sure that you have the entire set. Right. There are also a few toys and commendations that you can get your rep up with the factions of the respective expansion. That's really cool. I mean, now I've actually started doing is getting the Sons of Hodor reputation up, because I want to get some of those cool ice mammoths. It's a really cool idea, just to make sure that it feels like when you're going and doing those dungeons, you're working towards something from that expansion, some of the rewards that are still there, that are still obtainable, and it gets it in a much more relevant way, other than just going into that section and grinding out mobs by hitting them once. This way, it just seems a lot better. So I'm quite happy with the loot that the rewards from the system that they've implemented. Let's take a look at the dungeons that are actually available for us. At the moment we have 5 from each dungeons. We have Alcatraz, Black Morass, Mana Tombs, Shattered Halls, and the Slave Pens for the Burning Crusade. We also have Arnkenetz, Gundrak, Halls of Lightning, the Nexus, and Utgard Pinnacle for Wrath of the Lich King. The first thing that I think of when I see these is that firstly I'd recommend adding a few more. Mainly because nobody wants to be doing their 5 for their bonus quest and have the same dungeon pop up 3 times. Yes, I am looking at you, Gundrak. They are adding 1 new dungeon per expansion with the latest from the latest patch notes, patch 6.2.3. So they will be up to 6, but it still doesn't feel like quite enough. I think the whole idea of 8 is a good number, and it's got a lot less chance of the same dungeons coming up. There is also other news for patch 6.2.3. If you don't know what's going on in patch 6.2.3, then please check out the other video which is detailing it. I'll put that down inside of the details. We will also be seeing Cataclysm dungeons, sorry about that, coming through to the time walking table, right? As well as a new kick-ass mount which can drop from any time walking boss. The mount is based off of the Infinite Dragonflight, and it looks really cool. And so it can drop off of any time walking boss, so that's anything from Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and as well Cataclysm. So I'm quite happy that we will be getting more some more raids in the form of Cataclysm. However, I still think that we need to increase the amount per expansion. So how is it that they can make time walking better? Firstly, the thing I would ensure was to make sure that the difficulty is increased to offer some kind of challenge. It is quite pathetic and laughable at this moment. People don't want to just jump in and all of a sudden, okay, we just hit the boss and now we're done. Make sure to get that crystal thing, go hand it in for a quest. Okay, that was fun. No, it's not. It's not fun at all. Like, come on. I want to be able to like sit there and go, oh, yo, that was a close one. We nearly wiped on that guy. I don't want this little, okay, run in, hit him. Yay, did you get any loot? Yeah, I'm gonna transmog it, cool. No, it's freaking boring. Make something fun, make it like interesting. Nobody likes to simply just walk in and then they gift wrap the stuff for you. We want to go in there and have a little bit of a challenge. Come on, Blizzard, sort it out. Secondly, make them a constant fixture. Alright, so make the bonus weekend event still there, but make it so that that gives them a little bit more of a boost to the potency of the Time Walking Dungeons, but still have the Time Walking Dungeons being a constant thing that we can do. Alright. Thirdly, I'd recommend adding a few more options to the dungeons. To lower the amount of dungeons, the lower the amount of dungeons, the more chance of getting the same one twice in a row, and nobody likes that. There is nothing worse than running the Nexus twice. In closing, I would just like to point out that the idea of Time Walking Dungeons is a great one, and with some care and attention it can really turn into an awesome way to pass the time, and to see some dungeons that we might have missed in the past. If you weren't around for Wrath of the Lich King, and you missed out on the opportunity to see those dungeons, now we can have the chance, now we can actually go back and see them in a way that was just as challenging then as it should be now. Make it so that when we go back there, we feel that same feeling of going through areas like Forge of Souls or the Pit of Sauron, that we had some really challenging areas to it, especially with the Burning Crusade dungeons. Bring that to us, and they can be done so well, because at the moment it just feels like they're jeopardizing a golden opportunity. Do it better, Blizzard, and you really have something great going here. Anyway guys, thanks for joining into my channel. It's been great having you here. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and check out any other videos that I have. Something else there might interest you. Thanks again. Cheers.